Okay, it's working. And all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. As always, with me today is my co host, editor, dungeon master, everything else, the guy who does all my editing. Dakota, how are you?
Good, I'm just here to ruin this place.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And we have two very special guests with us today. First, we have Blue. She is. Let's see here. Actually, Blue, how are you?
I'm great. Did you forget everything about me for a second then?
You see, I made notes. I'm looking at notes, and yet it's like just nothing is clicking. I'm reading, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I can't read. So, yeah, tell us about yourself.
I was gonna say, you've known me for how many months now? And you're just like, oh no, what's your name again? Who are you? Why are you here?
We
Okay.
like changed directions like 3 times in like that introductory prayer.
Shh. We're not going to talk about it. It's okay. Look, that's in the past. This is the future. We've moved on.
Fair enough.
I'm great. Anyway, I'm a Twitch streamer, play variety games, also do some cosplay stuff, and obsessed with anime, basically. That's about it.
Resident Kami-sama of Twitch. All the
That's
great
me.
accolades. And last but not least, we have an author, Discord master, the Dark Spectre of the Paranormal himself, James. James, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How about you?
Well, James, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a writer, mainly science fiction, paranormal fiction, also some nonfiction. I have a Discord. I really like that, and just got into some Minecraft, so
Cool.
and social media when I can.
Awesome. Awesome. How's everybody's week been?
It's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Normal. Not too exciting.
Uh, about usual here, too, honestly.
I've kind of had like a fucked up week.
Ooh, let's hear it.
So like the other day, I like stepped on an anthill.
Mhm.
That kind of sucked.
Mm.
Yeah, and then I like had to like go to like a doctor because like they're like, I might have like a little bit of skin cancer on my back, so they had to like go cut that off, and like had to go to like a dermatologist, right? And I walk in, and it's like full of like old people, and they got like their walkers and their old people stuff, and there's like a small TV, Fox News, stereotypical place. I'm like, all right, should be fine. And then like the doctor like comes in like 6 hours later because he was late and all this stuff and like all this late backed up stuff, and they're like, all right, so gonna just need to like check this out. And he's like, all right, yeah, we'll get like a nurse like get that off. And so and like he leaves. He's like, so just take your shirt off. We'll get you like all fixed up. Nurse walks in. She's really hot, and I'm kind of out of shape. And it was really awkward. And then she's like, all right, just gotta stick you a needle and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And I'm like over here just like, oh God, I need to do like some sit-ups or something. I need to like do a couple squats, next time, and then they're just like, you know, so that was like awkward. And she's like, oh, you're fine. We'll just get this off. And I'm like, okay, just casually maybe flex, might be all right, you might not see through this, might see through this like facade, you know. Yeah, not a good day. Not a good day.
You poor. You poor soul.
Yeah, that's how my week went.
Well, I'm glad everything's better, other than your pride. I think your pride's probably broken.
Yeah, it was like the size of that ant, that like bit me when I stepped on that ant hill, but it's gone now. It's all good.
What was left of it anyway, right?
Yeah, the hot nurse at that doctor's place took it.
All right. So, shall we crack on into the news?
Yeah, why not?
So, our general overall topic for the day is anime. So, as for animated related news, as you all know, fall is usually the biggest time of year for anime releases and everything else. And this year is definitely no exception. So, Blue, did you have some pulled up that you wanted to go through?
My Hero Academia next season's coming out. I mean, everyone's talking about that. Hottest news on the town, pretty much.
So excited because it ended off on such a huge note, too.
Yeah. The rivalry is big. I don't know how much I want to talk about in case people haven't seen it, but yeah, main character is. I don't. It's just a thing, isn't it? It's just a thing.
That dang thing right there.
Right, honestly, yeah.
And we've finally been introduced to the top heroes at the school too, so I'm very excited to get to see how all of those work and everything else.
Have any of you like read the manga? Any on it?
I have not.
I haven't either.
I'm like fully caught up. It gets really really good as it continues, which is always great. And it's like way far ahead now, so like they might make this season maybe a little bit longer, maybe. Who knows?
I hope so, because that would be nice. Getting a little bit extra out of it.
Like no joke, if they did like just an episode like once a week, they could go like for like over a year, I think, with as much material.
Holy crap! Because I know what an episode typically covers. What, 3 chapters? I think.
Something like that, and it's like way far ahead. Like, cause like looking back at it when I was like, all right, it's about to come out. I look back at the manga and I'm like, oh, this is where the anime left off. And then I had to like just keep scrolling to like keep back caught up. Like it's like way ahead, which is dope as shit.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm really really excited about what's going to happen in this next season that's coming up. I don't know. It left off on a big cliffhanger. I don't know. It's just exciting.
It is. It's very exciting. I cannot wait. And then another thing that left off on a massive cliffhanger, so I'm very excited, is coming out is October 11th, Food Wars, the 4th plate, or season 4, whatever you want to call it. They're really weird about their stuff. That's starting back up in October as well.
Yeah, and Food Wars is probably it was one of the first animes that I kind of discovered on my own, as opposed to like via recommendation or you have to watch this, and I don't know, it just hits me right in the giggles. It is so funny.
It is. It's very over the top, especially with the like food tastings and everything else. The head of the school, like anytime he tries something delicious and the top of his like ghee or whatever just shreds it, I crack up every single time. It's great.
Although I have to always watch it with a snack, otherwise I get too hungry watching it.
See, I've tried to recreate some of the dishes in it. Some of them have turned out great. Other ones I don't want to talk about. And then, I don't know if any of y'all paid attention, but at some of the cons here lately, like a dude has been dressing up as Soma and like handing out octopus and peanut butter.
That's hilarious. I kind of want to try some. I'm a vegetarian, so I won't, but I kind of want to try some.
See, it's one of those things where it's like, it's bad, but you still want to do it. It's like you go to a restaurant, they tell you hot plate, but you still have to touch the plate anyway.
I know.
Just really bad habits.
It's a big red button in it.
It really is.
Just gotta press it.
And do not touch.
Then Sword Art Online, the second core of the Alicization arc, is also coming out on October 12th. So that day's going to be busy with My Hero and Sword Art both.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything past the first season of Sword Art because I tried to watch half of a bit of the second season and it just wasn't for me. But I've been told that the third season is really really good, but I just haven't gotten over the lump of the second season because it just wasn't. It didn't live up to the first season.
You see,
I'm right there with you on that. I quit right around there too.
And that's one of my things why I've really pushed for the third season, because it's a lot like Attack on Titan. They got massive increases to budget for animation and everything else. So the overall look of it is 100 times better, along with you have better storytelling. Like, the storytelling is on par with the first arc of season 1, because the second arc got real weird real quick.
Yeah.
But
Weird AI child.
But overall, it got a lot better. So I can definitely recommend season 3. And you really don't even have to watch season 2 to get into season 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I might have to skip season 2 and dive right into season 3, and then just like read about it to try and like make sense of things.
Yeah, because the first half of season 2 isn't necessarily the most important, whereas the last half you get some, like, I guess, real life stuff with Kirito and Asuna, but I don't even think that really necessarily plays a part into it. I just recommend watching Ordinal Scale before you go into it, because I think some of the stuff from the film kind of plays a part, but I think that's about it.
Okay.
And then on October 9th, Seven Deadly Sins Season 4 is going to be dropping. Although that doesn't simuldub in the US, so we're kind of SOL on that one.
Yeah, they'll do that Netflix drop once it's like all translated and it's done.
Although I did read that Netflix was about to start simulcasting in the States, I think next year.
Interesting.
I think. And then another one that I know Blue and I are both excited about it. Chihaya Season 3 is going to be dropping
Yes.
later in October as well.
Yeah, I was so excited. Actually, when I first started watching the anime, because me and you only watched it a little while ago, I didn't realize how close the third season was to dropping. And I binge watched the whole thing, and I kind of wish I didn't. I wish I'd like spaced it out a bit more so that it would like drop when I finished. But I didn't. I binge watched it, and then afterwards I was like, oh wait, the third season is coming out like next month.
Yep, I did the same. I completely binge watched it, and now I'm like, oh, well, should have waited.
I know, but it gives us an excuse to watch it again and cry all over.
That's very true, because I'm not going to lie, that I haven't seen a card game, like slice of life card game anime that's just giving me the feels like this one
Oh
has.
my god,
Or
so
Hitman
many
feels.
feels.
It's excellent. So
Yeah, so just a brief description of it, because it's kind of like a bit of a weird one. It's based on a card game that is like Japanese specific called Karata, and it's like a card game where you have to memorize 100 ancient poems, and then they read out the first. There's like 50 cards on the floor, and you have 25 facing you. Your opponent has 25 facing them, and so there's 50 like dud cards, and then you have a reader that reads out half of the poem, and then you have to like match it to the poem that's like in front of you, and you have to knock it out of the way. First person to touch it collects it, and then it's basically just you want to get rid of all of your cards first. But they do it like anime style.
Okay.
So they're like punching them across a room so the cards like stick into the wall kind of speed.
Oh my god.
And it's about these 3 kids that met in elementary, and started playing this game together, and then they separated off for middle school, and then they kind of like start gathering back together at high school, and it's about them like they're having like flashbacks to their childhood together, and then also the fact that Karata is what brings them all together, and it's their relationship and, you know, turmoils and stuff of life and teenage years, and I don't know, it's really, really, really good.
Okay, it sounds interesting, and if it's like anime over the top, that'd probably make it pretty cool too. So
It has its moments where it's really over the top, and then like the animation changes for like emotions and everything is great.
Yeah, the art style is amazing. It's not as over the top as something like Food Wars. That is like ridiculously over the top. It is more subtly over the top, but it is still definitely anime-ified, if that's a word. It's totally not a word. I made it up. It's now a word.
I get what you're saying though.
It's good enough. But yeah, the animation is definitely beautiful. There's just a lot to like about it.
Okay, I'll have to check that one out then.
And then the other news, as far as Chiafaru is concerned, so late last year, the voice actor who played Dr. Harada, Unsho Ishizuka, he passed away. So Kenta Miyake, who is All Might's voice actor, is going to be taking his place.
Oh, that's interesting.
So to everyone who doesn't know, he's the one who taught Chiaya, one of the main characters, how to actually play karate. So
And
a
All
huge
Might
staple.
is and All Might is from My Hero Academia. In case you haven't seen that one.
So I'm interested to see how he's going to voice it, because I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
I'm just used to that voice actor being very over the top.
I agree. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to try and kind of replicate what was done prior, or if he's going to like do his own thing.
I'm very intrigued, because I know with a lot of voice actors, like once they become synonymous with one role, it's very hard to kind of take them seriously in others, because like Chris Sabat, who does Vegeta's English voice acting, like anytime I hear him in anything else, all I can hear is Vegeta. It just doesn't go away.
Well, isn't the guy that does the Japanese voice for All Might, isn't he also, he does the Japanese dub for Thor in the Marvel movies?
Yes,
isn't that the same guy?
he does.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, he kind of plays like a different, I know that's still like superhero character style, but like, there's kind of like different, like, you know,
It's not as over
voice
the
talents
top.
there.
Yeah.
It's a lot more like dulled down, and there's like more like, I guess, like more casualness in that compared to All Might, for sure.
Yeah, that's very true. And then, are there any other ones coming out in the fall that you're excited for, Blue? Because we've made it through my list.
There's some new ones that I haven't like ever heard of before. Just some random ones that are like launching in the autumn that I think are looking quite cool. But I think of the big ones that are like having a next season coming out. You've covered them all.
Yeah, because I think there's one dropping called Assassin's Pride that kind of caught my interest. I just haven't taken the time to look into it anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to be hopping around watching a lot of first episodes of things, and it'll be interesting to see which ones get a second episode watch.
Yeah, because I'm right there with you. Typically, at this point, I can watch an episode and tell whether I'm going to like the anime overall or not.
Agreed, yeah.
I don't necessarily need my 3-episode rule anymore.
Yeah, it's especially if you know like animators or writers or voice actors and stuff that have had like parts in the making of it, or if you've like seen reviews of the manga or read chapters of the manga, then you can easily tell quickly.
Yeah.
And then in other anime news, so Japan has submitted Makoto Shinkai's new film Weathering with You into the Academy Awards for the Best International Feature Film category. Now, to those of you who are unfamiliar with Shinkai's work, he has done 5 centimeters per second, and the biggest one to date until this one dropped was Your Name. And Your Name was an absolutely breathtaking film. It's tied for my favorite anime film of all time.
Oh yeah, that's that movie you keep telling me to watch.
Yeah, you should totally watch it. I have the Blu-ray. You can have it.
Whenever I get free time, I got you.
And then a little bit of added information on Weathering with You and why they have submitted it into the Academy. It is, whenever it released in July to date, it has sold over 9.5 million tickets in Japan, which grosses over 12.6 billion yen, so about 116 million American dollars. So it's Japan's 7th highest grossing film of all time and the #1 grossing film of 2019.
Wow. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how it does, because Japanese films don't normally tend to do very well in the international film like thing for the Academy Awards, the category. So I'm going to be interested to see how well it does, because you would think that like a lot of the top films would be either Indian or Japanese in the Academy Awards foreign film category, but it hardly ever is.
And I honestly expected this one to go into more categories, because Your Name and A Silent Voice both went into a lot of different categories whenever they came out a couple years ago. So I'm surprised they've only submitted this one into one.
Yeah, you know what I always find funny though is that English films don't go into the foreign film categories. Like if they're made in the UK, they don't go into foreign film. They're still considered to be like part of the rest of the crew.
That might have something to do with there's a lot of like shooting in there, and it's like localized, I guess.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I don't know. It just intrigues me that foreign film doesn't mean anything made outside of the States. It just means anything in a foreign language, really.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. And real quick, Brad, did you say that it was the top grossing for 2019?
It's the top grossing in Japan, anyway.
Wow, that beat Endgame.
It did. And which, honestly, whenever it dropped, like, it shot above Endgame quickly, too, if I'm not mistaken, because I kind of kept track of it whenever it came out. Because I'm a huge Shinkai nerd. Like, he is definitely animation senpai.
That's crazy, because Endgame was in theaters. It was in the U.S. I don't know about Japan, but it was in theaters for, like, forever, because they kept it in to, like, get it to number one.
And then they added in bonus stuff just to try to get it to outgross Avatar.
Yeah, so if anything actually beat Endgame basically anywhere in 2019 is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it did it. I didn't actually look up the numbers because I figured that might get brought up, so I should have, but it completely slipped my mind to do it. But that definitely should have been something I should have looked into a bit more.
Well, if you want to know any of those kinds of details, you can hop on over to Brad's Discord server, link in the down thing.
They will eventually make it in there, I promise.
Yeah. Plugs.
So many plugs.
So many plugs.
Unless someone forgets and then just harass it in the Discord.
Yeah, somewhere on some panel, somewhere, you can find your way into the Discord and you'll find all the details. And then, so that's it for all of my anime news. Does anybody else have any?
Not me, I'm all good.
No?
I'm not as into anime overall, so this is all new to me.
Okay, and now into it is animated, but it has absolutely nothing to do with anime itself. So, Tuesday, September 24th, is D-Day for all of us PS4 fans, because at State of Play, Naughty Dog has announced that they're going to be giving us a lot more Last of Us 2 news.
Oh.
So I'm ready to have my heart broken all over again. Because The Last of Us still stands as one of, actually probably my favorite standalone game of all time.
Yeah, it is an absolutely brilliant game.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely heartbreaking.
Oh,
Why do
yeah.
you always have to bring up all the heartbreaking stuff?
Because it's obviously the ones that we are most emotionally connected to. Or at least
Honestly,
for me. I'm not afraid to admit I cried in the first 10 minutes of that game.
I cry over, like, adverts, though, honestly. I'm such a baby.
Well, honestly, didn't know if I was going to end up being as emotionally wrecked by Chihaifuru as I was. And then, yeah, that changed real quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I'm becoming a lot more of a baby as time goes on.
Honestly, any anime that just has the sad music in the background of it, and I've cried.
Yeah, that's true, because I've noticed a lot of the tracks, like that Your Lie in April has, like the soft piano tracks. I've noticed it in more animes, and I'm like, oh, no, my heart, you're bringing back memories.
Yeah, the thing with the classical music in Your Lie in April, there's another anime, Piano no Mori, and it's very similar. It's over a piano competition of children, like, setup thing. So because of that, a lot of the music is the same. So every time I watch either one or the other, I'm feeling not just the emotion of one of them, I'm feeling the emotion of both of them, because that song is connected to both.
Yep.
And it just turns me into a ball of tears. It's not fun.
That's literally it, because in the past week, I have cried more than I care to over Your Lie in April, because I had to rewatch it just for this, just so it could be refreshed in my mind, and I'm not happy.
Yeah, I watched it again too, and honestly, I've gone through like 2 boxes of tissues, I think.
Damn.
They get expensive.
Yes, yeah.
Look, I need to buy in bulk.
Yeah, go to Costco just for tissues, specifically for anime.
Look, can I have a pallet?
Yeah.
Sad stuff this weekend. I need all you got.
Yeah.
I'm delivering
kids
boxes.
Your Lie in April, Kids on the Slope, Piano no Mori, like all of that jazz, and just honestly, just fill my house with tissues.
Okay, and that does it for overall news as well. Unless anybody else has anything. Dakota?
Yeah, what do you guys think of the Peacock?
And moving on.
Peacock. It's NBC's new streaming thing. It's coming up.
I honestly have no clue. I haven't even heard of it, and also why would they name it that?
They're gonna reboot The Office. You guys excited?
No.
Rebooting everything.
No. Okay, first off,
gonna be great.
Unpopular opinion. I don't like The Office.
Fuck
I've never seen it.
You should watch it. It's great.
English or US?
English is pretty dope. It's the original. That one I like, but the other one also has Steve Carell, so it's kind of like
Steve Carell's got one of those faces that gets on my nerves.
You see, Blue gets it. Like, there's a reason we call her Call Me Sama. She gets it. Like, I just can't get into it. Like, some of the clips are funny, but just overall as a show, like, I just don't get it.
Yeah. Well, they're pulling that off Netflix, and they're pulling Parks and Rec off Netflix for the NBC show.
People are about to lose their minds.
Yeah, and they're calling it the Peacock for some reason, because
Apparently, they're remaking Saved by the Bell as well.
Yeah, which is weird because they didn't talk to Zach, the main guy, was the main character in Saved by the Bell, but he's gonna. They wrote him in as a character who is like the governor of California, who's like supposed to be shutting down schools, and is going to be all the bad schools, like the low poverty ones, and are going to be moving those students into the high rich ones, and then it's going to be a culture shock for the rich kids. I'm not making that up. That was the NBC statement on the show, and it sounds horrible.
Just a culture shock for the rich kids.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see some reviews coming out of that then.
Yeah, it's out of touch executives. Oh, Pixels by Moonlight in the chat. Peacock is NBC's service named after the logo. Oh yeah, because the rainbow feathers, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that is their logo. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. I need
Still
to
a
animate a
horrible
light
name.
bulb going off.
Yeah, it's still a horrible name though.
It is terrible. Also read somewhere today where they're going to be remaking Golden Girls. So don't know how I feel about that one.
How are they going to find to act that way? Those people on that show, in the original show, they could deliver the one-liners. How are they going to find people that can do that again?
Betty White's still kicking, kinda, right? Yeah.
I
She's
don't
like
think Betty White's...
156.
Give her like some cocaine for energy. She can see through some lines.
I just want to know what Betty White and the Queen are drinking to have survived so long.
My grandma's the same age as the Queen.
Really?
Yeah, it's tea. It's English. It just happens.
I've been
Hell
living
yes.
my life all wrong. Because obviously
Yeah.
sweet tea isn't doing it. That's just making me fat.
No. You guys drink a lot of iced tea and sweet tea in America, right?
Especially the South.
Yeah, mostly the South.
Mainly
yeah.
the South.
And I suppose there is such a thing as like a builder's cup of tea in the UK, which is just basically, would you like some tea with your milk and sugar? And it's like a thing. It's like whenever you get like a plumber around or a builder or like somebody to work on your house, you offer them a cup of tea and they'll ask for a builder's cup of tea. I don't know why. It's just like become a thing. And it's just basically like half a pot of sugar, all of the milk that you own in your house, and a bit of a tea bag.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like it's a thing.
That sounds like sweet tea in the South then. Like that sounds really close, minus the milk.
Except the milk.
And hot. It's hot. But like for the rest of us, we just drink normal tea, black tea in a cup, bit of milk if you want it. I don't have milk or sugar in mine. But
I'm doomed.
yeah.
I don't drink tea.
I drink green tea at work because we have a little Keurig, so that's just kind of my way of getting tea. But other than that, no, sweet tea, diabetes in a cup. That's about it.
Essentially, yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, my grandma has about 8 cups of black tea, no sugar a day. And she's 94 this November.
Dang, she got it figured out.
Tea is the secret to long life, then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her mum lived to be 101, and her mum lived to be 103, so it's slowly going down. Well, I mean, my grandma's still got a fair few years in her, but I'm going to beat them. I've got to beat them. They're 103, that's my score. I've got to beat it.
New high score.
New high score.
All right, so if tea, regular black tea, is like the secret of like living, apparently. If you're not a fan of it, could you just like get it as a needle and just kind of like inject it? Would that still work?
Oh, well, that's what me and Brad do for coffee, for caffeine every day.
Yeah, exactly. Just IV drip. Like before any and every stream, you just hook up an IV bag and you're just good to go.
That's why we can't see your arms. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I keep the arms off stream. It's totally not because I am a noob and play with a controller. Like, no, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not some weirdo. You got this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
And
am.
those
I am professional.
Yes. And those pictures I have on my Instagram of me giving blood, it's not blood. I was getting a coffee infusion.
Right, it's not taken out, it's putting in.
I was putting in. Yeah.
Exactly.
Gotcha. All right.
But if
Learn
do
to
not
walk.
have, but if do not have caffeine, vodka is very valuable option. Just saying.
Potato juice.
Yes, potato water. All we have back home, cow, potato water. Is it? It's all we have. And snow. Lot of snow. It's very cold.
Hell yeah.
Except for Becky. Becky lives off of Starbucks.
No. No. No.
Oh my god, Brad, what are you doing here?
No.
Where's my Starbucks?
No, I got to go. I got to get out of here. Where's the chopper? I need to go.
I need that pumpkin spice latte.
I need my pumpkin spice latte with soy milk, extra shot of vanilla espresso, and all of the whipped cream that you own. Like literally all of it.
Okay, so no
I
joke.
like having my Starbucks. It's a status item.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to have my Starbucks in my Gucci with my toy chihuahua.
So
Oh,
no
I
joke.
see.
So yesterday I had to go to Ingles, which is kind of Georgia's like own grocery chain, I guess. And they have a Starbucks in the one here, and so they had people up front trying to hand out samples of pumpkin spice latte, and I just instantly just booked it straight away. I was like, nope, Becky would be proud, but I'm gone.
You should have done the honorable thing. You take it and you put it in the trash where it belongs.
No,
You can
but
stare at them, make complete eye contact, take the cup, slowly walk over to the bin, holding eye contact, and drop it in, smirk, and turn, and just book it in the opposite direction.
you know what?
Then
That,
you walk over and you ask for more.
Can I have another? That was delicious. May I please have more?
you see, that sounds like something I would do, but on the flip side of that, though, think of all the starving Beckys in the world who can't afford Starbucks until payday. That would just be heartbreaking.
No thank you. I don't even have a payday. My dad gives $5,000 a month on my credit card just for my makeup. I get another 10 grand just for Starbucks. Thank you.
Oh yeah, that's right, because Becky coffee is what, $33 a cup? I think is what I
Yeah.
remember seeing somewhere in the Discord.
Hey, you only have one credit card?
Well, I mean, that's a double platinum, diamond, extra, gold, fancy credit card that has my name on it, and it's written in embossed calligraphy from Rome.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I actually got the Black Diamond MasterCard. The limit is 100,000.
Mine has no limit because it's as expensive. The actual card is worth as much as a yacht.
I'm broken.
Okay, Brad, you don't sound so good.
I'm
Podcast's
fine.
going how you
I'll
wanted
get
it to, Brad.
I'll get it together. I promise. This is going exactly how I figured it would go. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm the only person in the world that has a credit card that's encrusted with diamonds.
So listen, can you just break me off 12 karat and send it over here? Because Brad needs an expensive Coke habit.
You know what? You can have my Starbucks cup because all of my Starbucks cups are also encrusted in diamonds.
You know what? I will greatly accept that. That can be our parting gift after that terrible breakup. After you had to go get with Chad.
Well, Chad was my next season's boyfriend. You were last season. That's so 5 minutes ago.
Well, guess what? It's fall. Who's next?
Vlad.
Oh, okay.
Vlad.
But you see, it's also secretly me, because name is also Vlad, depending on who you ask.
My stomach hurts.
All right. So, any more news?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. So on to today. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So I watched a movie to prepare for the podcast.
No, we'll get to you last.
No.
No. We will get to you last.
Don't worry. Okay, so to prepare for the podcast, Brad, I was like, all right, I should not do anything anime related because that would make sense for the podcast. So I Google searched worst 80s movies of all time.
Okay.
And then I was like, abandoned that quickly. Then I was like, worst 90s movies of all time. Found a movie. It was called Santa with Muscles, starring Hulk Hogan. Watched half of it, realized this is horrible. Couldn't finish it. Thought, all right, I should be a good co-host. I should do something kind of anime related. So I thought, what movie could tie with this pristine masterpiece that's also somewhat anime related? So I watched Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh my God, no!
And it was also just as bad as I remember.
As you remember, you sat through it a second time.
Yeah. I will not do anything to help, but I will work twice as hard to be a detriment. I found that out about myself not too long ago.
Santa with muscles with Hulk Hogan as the star.
Yes. Now, the title makes it sound, oh, this will be amazing, right? It will not. Don't let that fool you. I need you to pull up an image of just the cover. By the way, that got a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes, if you can believe it or not.
23, that's high.
Yeah, 23 out of 100.
Hang on.
Also, that wasn't reviewer scored. That was audience scored because no reviewer actually went and saw this movie. I think because there was no reviews on this, like professional. So
I want to watch it.
Yeah, no, you can find it free on YouTube, by the way, because that's where I watched it.
I gotta watch that now.
Yeah.
That means it has to be good.
So basically, I got it pulled up here. I'll read you just the movie review, like the description of this. All right. Pernicious, I don't know what the fuck this word is. I don't know why they put that word in there because no one watching this movie who's a fan of Hulk Hogan is going to be able to read this. Penurious, but muscle-bound Blake Thorne, famed wrestler turned actor Hulk Hogan, actor's strong word here, has made a vast fortune marketing health food and health supplements. He was once a nice fellow, but as his wealth increased, he became increasingly self-centered and decadent. Also a word that no one as a fan of Hulk Hogan knows. One day, he gets in a great paint gun fight that goes too far. Yeah, you know, as you do. Blake escapes the cops. It was a weird scene. Running into a shopping mall, quickly donning on a Santa suit, pretending to be Saint Nick to avoid the cops.
Oh god.
Also, he doesn't have sleeves.
Pixels just said in chat that he saw it in cinemas.
Pixels, I'm sorry.
What life do you live that you went and saw this in theaters? A head injury causes him to suffer amnesia, and an opportunist elf decides to convince him he is actually Santa. That leads Hulk Hogan to save an orphanage, because reasons. And also, there's a greedy, insane doctor, because reasons. That's what I got from this movie. It's only 90 minutes. I made it about half an hour in, and viciously turned off the TV.
Viciously.
I was visibly mad because this movie is terrible, but it was also awesome. All right, WWF 8. Okay, As an 8-year-old, sure. Go
Yeah,
for it.
you know what? It makes sense. It makes sense. Nobody pay attention to what's actually happening on screen right now.
Hey, I'll apply. Sweet, I could be a second co-host too. That's what you meant, right?
I don't need two of you. I already
Okay.
have one. What is enough?
So what I actually watched was Dragon Ball Evolution. That actually got a lower score. And it actually got reviewed. The consumer gave it 20%, which was 3% lower. The reviewers gave it 15%. I can agree with those numbers. I got nothing bad to say about those numbers. I got plenty bad to say about the film, but not about the numbers scoring it.
So
If you can imagine.
You completely taken the topic of our favorite anime and why, and just flipped it to least favorite anime and why it's shit.
Yeah, you're up to speed.
Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense then.
No. Okay, there's a fight scene in this movie
Uh-huh.
that involves him standing up against bullies and stuff, which has way too much slow motion for some fucking reason. They discovered, hey, if I hit this button on the camera, it does this thing, and they tried to shoot a scene with it, and it's horrible, bunch of jump cuts and everything. But he jumps over the top of a car, but he doesn't fully jump over it, and he does it upside down, and his head slides across the top of the car for some reason. That was a choice they made. I don't know why they made this choice. No one verbally asked, why did you make that choice when they were making the movie? But they did it.
And the worst part is somebody got paid.
They did get paid. They got more paid than I will probably make in a long time.
And I don't know if you know, but Ukog is Goku spelled backwards.
I have been enlightened.
Yeah, those letters are thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. So if anybody has any questions about Dragon Ball, I got you.
Okay, you know what? Never mind. Job posting
There's a
does
scene-
pay. If you
there's a
get him out of
scene-
here, job posting does pay.
There's a scene where the character who's playing Goku, who was also on Shameless, I don't know why I said that, but he was on it. He's fighting the old man who is his grandpa, and he bats a fly into his mouth, and his grandpa starts choking. That's the opening fight sequence of this film. So when you see that, you're like, this is a thing. It's not a good thing. There's plenty of bad things you could say. It happens.
Okay, you're fired. Okay.
Next topic.
Okay, so we'll let the other two talk about their favorite anime and to why it is their favorite anime. So
Anything is better than that. You got this. It's only up from here. We can't go lower. I took away the shovel.
James, would you like to go first?
Oh boy, can I top that? I'm not sure.
Go for it.
I believe in you.
The floor is yours.
Yeah. So, because I'm trying to collect my thoughts here, get them back in order. So I anime overall. I watched a few things, but not a lot. Because I'm legally blind, so to be really interesting to me. Two favorites, but the one I want to talk about today is Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, and Second Gig.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I saw it was back in early 2000s. It came out on TV here in the U.S. in 2002, I believe. And when I first saw it, I wasn't sure like it because it looked like it was just about this anti-terrorist team of who some of them were cyborgs and had artificial to their bodies, arms and legs, and just whatever basically they needed. Then I found as I watched it, it was a lot deeper than that. It covered, I guess you'd say, the future of technology but also something I didn't expect, which was the idea of souls or spirits or I really, after I found that out, I really liked the series, and a few times over the years, I only watched the dubbed version because of my vision. I can't do subtitles so well.
Mm-hmm.
But the part of also why I love it is the voice actress that plays the main character with that character. Name is Elizabeth Mary McGlynn, and made that character of the Major, or Nagi, I think is the character's last name. Interesting to me was the character is just so smart and strong physically. So there are times throughout the series where you really feel for what she's going through. About her, and then, like I said, just the whole intersection of and the possible existence of spirits within, because in this world, in the story, a lot of people have their brains encased in a system that can allow them to connect to the internet just in their own mind. So it's really, that's the other thing that was really interesting. And a lot of the story, a lot of what happens in that almost like a virtual reality kind of way, we can see like displays of things they need to see. Just basically, I guess it'd be in front of their eyes. Way. But it also politics, not for any one group or another, just again, technology and politics and just how people think and what they do. And so I really liked it because of all of that. It's a really smart series, and it's really well done, I think, overall visually. A little bit gory at times. It's definitely not a kids show. But it's very, very smart, and I really like that series, and I just recently watched it for this podcast. I would recommend it to anyone that's into technology and action shows and all that kind of thing. And there is some comedy in there. It's not too over the top, but it's there. I mean, it's not totally. You won't get too bored with the serious stuff in it. That's one of my two favorites. I would say real quick, the other one is Cowboy Bebop, and I just mentioned that because Mary McGlynn does a voice in the English dub of that as well. That is pretty major to that series and how that plays out. That's my favorite.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell is one of those that I keep meaning to try out at some point, and I just keep putting it off and putting it off. I don't know why. I think it's because my queue is ever growing.
And there's other versions that have different names besides our second gig. There's like animated movies. There's also, like some of you probably know, there was a live action movie based on it as well.
Oh yeah, the one that had, who was it, Angelina Jolie in it?
It was Scarlett Johansson, I think it was.
Yeah,
Which one was it? I can't remember.
No, I haven't seen that because I don't really watch movies much anymore because of my. But I love that series, and I still listen to it and try to watch what I can of it. Sometimes too. So.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Jinx. I was just gonna say I haven't seen it either, and it's been on my queue for a while, and I need to get around to watching it.
Yeah, I promise I'll get around to it at some point. I promise.
I think you might like it a lot in a way too, Brad, because it does deal with kind of counterterrorism, just shooting and things like that.
Yeah, and
maybe
on the
you
point
in
of
a
what
way.
you had talked about with gore and everything else, that's kind of one of the like main things I tell people as to whenever, because for those of us who watch anime, there's kind of a stigmatism that comes with it. Is it's animated, so it's for kids. No, I can assure you, anime is not for kids. Cartoons are for kids. Anime, not for kids.
Yeah, they got hentai.
Okay, you know what? You are fired. Okay, now the position pays more than my scarecrows. Anyway, continue.
Well, I was just gonna say that topic of whether or not anime is for kids is a very interesting one, and I think you can kind of see that in animes like Fairy Tale, which started off as being very much more done for the younger audience. There was no blood in any of the fight scenes. The kind of sexual humor to it was very much more PG or PG-13 maybe. And then the further along in the anime it gets, and now in the later season and the all-out war and everything, there is now blood in it. There is now like full-on like very sexual scenes that are happening, and like it's very much progressed. I think Fairy Tale is kind of a good exception though, in a sense, because it's kind of like Harry Potter in the sense that it started off as being for kids, but then as people grew, the anime grew with the age group of the people. But if you like sat a kid down and to watch Fairy Tale and you let them watch the whole dang thing right now, they would be going through like 300 ridiculous episodes or something. But like also it starts off like, if you watch the first episode of an anime, don't judge the anime based just on the first episode and like whether or not there's gore or something, especially if it's taken years to produce, because there's a good chance that it's gotten a whole lot more gory or adult as it's gone.
Yeah,
I've also seen on different cartoon stations, I saw episodes of Dragon Ball and then Dragon Ball Z. Saw them and they were just in the middle of all the other kids shows. Years later, in like adult cartoon blocks on TV, it was different. You could tell that stuff had been edited out from that series, those different series for the kids shows, but then the stuff was left in for the adult programming. So
Yeah, the stuff that aired for kids, especially here in the States, got very censored for a lot of stuff. And once it moved over to Toonami, which is the Saturday nighttime block for anime and whatnot, now it's a little bit more adult oriented. Like, you do get a lot more blood, gore, and everything else. But yeah, you're right. Like, whenever it was like a prime time, like Saturday morning slot, like it was like a lot more dumbed down and a lot more censored for kids and whatnot. Even shows like Dragon Ball and whatnot.
Well, they also had like that famous like Pokemon scene where like Brock's holding like a rice ball and he goes, I love jelly donuts. Because they just didn't think like American audience would know that in other countries there's like different kinds of foods and stuff. So
Oh, that's right. I do remember that.
Yeah. Or Pokemon's a great example of it, actually, because if your kid's watching Pokemon, they like the games, do not let them read the manga. Like, just don't. Not until they're old. The manga is very much of the animals are, the Pokemon are fighting viciously. So not like that in the games or the anime.
Yeah, that's definitely more.
I wondered about that. Yeah.
Interesting.
I wondered about that when I saw episodes of the cartoon, and it seemed like they must be dumbing it down or really how everything happened, because some of the attacks I saw I mean, yeah, they like they would hurt a lot.
Mm. Yeah, no story is needed in the manga.
See, that is because I read the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z manga growing up, and Pokemon was always one of those I'd always thought I might want to read or might want to get my hands on just as, just for collecting purposes because I enjoy collecting statues, manga, and everything else. And so Pokemon was kind of on my list. But especially if the manga is a lot different than how the show actually turned out, then that might just kind of speed rush that collection onto my list.
Yeah. Well, I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but I have heard that it's actually quite difficult to get your hands on those like original copies of the manga because they've been now producing like more PG versions of the manga so that younger kids can read it because the target audience is now a lot younger. So they've been like trying to like hide the original ones and how graphic and like vicious they were. So I think it's actually quite difficult to get your hands on those.
Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
May have to just look that up or see if you can't find a selection of it online to have to read them.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then, so, Blue, Kami-sama, our resident Slytherin, what do you have for your favorite anime?
Well, I have so many favorite animes; it's hard to choose. But the one that I think needs a bit more like attention on I've already mentioned it before in this podcast. It's Kids on the Slope. It's an absolutely phenomenal anime. It's only 12 episodes. It is based in Japan, obviously, but after the Second World War. And I think what people kind of like turn their noses off at it from is because it's about jazz music, and people are like, "Oh, well, why would I want to watch something about jazz music?" But you need to watch it. So it's based just after the Second World War, and probably about 10 years after. And you've got 3-ish main characters, and the one main character is a pianist. He moves to this like small area in Japan, and bumps into this other kid who is half American, half Japanese, which after the Second World War, not a good like mix of races to have, and he has a bit of a hard life because of it. But it is it's just a slice of life. It's a romance coming of age, and it's just amazing. The music's in it amazing, and there will be one song that I think most people will recognize throughout it. It is Someday My Prince Will Come, which was used in Snow White. So if you've seen the original Snow White, that's the song that she's like singing by the well, and it's jazzified and used in this anime, but it is so good. It came out in 2012 and it's gotten high reviews, but I never see people talking about it. So I think it's just one of those ones that kind of got like it got its time, it was shown, like everyone watched it who was into anime at the time, but because it was back in 2012, there wasn't this hype of like Westerners watching anime, which is now like it's really common for people to watch anime now. Whereas like in 2012, it wasn't as common. It was like a nerdy thing to do. So I think this one's kind of like not had its shining moment, and it needs it. It needs its shining moment. And I made Brad watch it, and he cried.
Yeah, my brain is still fried from that. I don't think I've actually recovered from that in any shape, form, or fashion. It's so good. And it honestly opened my eyes to just kind of jazz music and how it's not very portrayed in really like any form of like actual visual media.
Mm.
So, but it definitely opened my eyes to it. And I'd even downloaded some of the tracks just because I'd really enjoyed them.
Yeah, I think we have this kind of perception of what jazz music is in our minds. This anime is a way of showing that what we believe to be jazz music isn't at all jazz music. And it's just so good. It's so good.
It is. It definitely is. The animation on it is actually really good. Like, I was honestly surprised. It doesn't get as, like, overly CGI'd as, like Your Lie in April does, but it also doesn't need it either, which is for music animes, typically they go above and beyond for the CGI, and that one didn't need it, nor didn't use it, so it was definitely good.
Yeah, when I actually found out that it was made in 2012, I was actually kind of shocked because the anime looked like it was made in 2012. It looks like it could have been made like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the animation is very still like up to date.
Mm.
So it was definitely good.
Yeah, so I hugely recommend that. It is like probably top 5 animes of all time for me, and I just feel like it's so underrated.
I would probably put it in. I'd probably keep it in my top 10 for sure, because typically anything that can break me usually makes its way into my top 10 in some shape, form, or fashion. So
Yeah, I'm a huge sucker for music and sports animes. Those are my jams. Music and sports, no pun intended.
I need I need to watch some more sports animes.
Yeah, you do.
So Haikyuu definitely on the list.
Yeah,
I need to
Haikyuu's
finish the
great.
one about badminton. I can't even remember the name of it, but God, it made badminton look amazing.
I can't remember the name of it either. I would recommend. There's quite a lot of baseball animes out there. I know you Americans tend to like your baseball. There's quite a lot of baseball animes out there, and they are really good. There's, I mean, ridiculously long ones like Major, that's like a million episodes. Then there's also things like, and the names of all of them have just gone from my head. Love that. Thanks.
Like
Brain.
Diamonds of Ace,
Big
Major.
Wind Up Battery. Yeah, Ace of the Diamond. Battery, Big Wind Up. What else? No, I can't think of any. But like, yeah, there's loads of them. Loads of them, and I recommend looking at those. There's also a couple. There's a new American football anime that's just come out this summer. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, I know that's because previously the only American football anime that I had known about was I Shield 21, which is really good, but it's also very anime. It was made back in the day. And it's like, if you've seen Prince of Tennis, it's Prince of Tennis, but American football. It is the main character has the ability to go supersonic speed, basically, and dash around people, and is practically part of Xavier's school of X-Men and imaginary people. That's totally not the name of it, but we're gonna go with it. It's crazy. It's very insane. It isn't at all legitimate American football. So even if you don't like American football, but you like people on steroids, check out I Shield 21.
I may have to check it out because I'm intrigued. Because sometimes I need something that's just like kind of over the top anime just to kind of cleanse my palate.
Oh god, it's over the top. You don't have to use your brain except for subtitles. It's ridiculous.
That's perfect. That sounds like right up my alley.
It's great.
Hell yeah. Less I have to use my brain, the better.
Right.
That sounds about par for the course for you, Dakota.
Thanks, man.
Speaking of, anybody still want a co-host job? Still hiring.
Tell you, man, I can do 2. I got the time. I'll make it work.
I don't need 2 of you. 1 of you is enough.
I could do it, but I'm not going to be able to do any editing, so that's a problem.
I cornered the market.
No, you're overly qualified. Why don't you do something else?
You make a good point. I'm out.
Another good sports anime is Dive. I was just looking at the animes. Dive, it's about diving. Honestly, that's it. It's just about diving. It's just about kids learning how to dive.
Didn't that just come out like a year or so ago? Like, isn't that relatively new?
So 2017.
Oh, okay.
12 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. I enjoyed it.
Because that was around the time where I actually had like a lot more time to watch anime, and I remember when it came out, and I was like, I should watch that. And that's about as far as it went.
Yeah, as far as the general public's rating, it's a 3 out of 5 stars. Not that high, but when I watched it, I 5 out of 5 stars, so I really enjoyed it. Yeah, there you go.
Add that one to the list.
I always have to go back and like re-rate things because after I watch them, I'm so emotionally attached to them that I'm like 5 stars, and then I'm like, I go back and I'm like, in the ranking of things, that one sits at like a 2 star. Like, why did I put that so high?
That's how I'm with a lot of things. Like, just instantly, just 5 stars. Then I have to think about it critically, and I'm like, does it deserve it though?
Yeah, honestly, I could never be a movie reviewer because every review would just be like, it's the best thing ever. You need to watch it.
Everybody would pay you just to do the movie reviews, though, because
Honestly, yeah.
excellent.
Yeah. Do they need Hulk Hogan needs a good review? Okay, great, I'll watch it.
Hey, there you go. No one's reviewed it yet critically, so there's a job opening for that movie. Santa with muscles. Go review it.
Coming
5
this
out of
fall.
5 stars.
Kami-sama reviews. Santa with muscles.
That'll do it.
Good luck. That's all I can say.
And then my topic for as to what my favorite anime is, it's really hard because Dragon Ball, like the entire series, has just always had my heart. But Your Lie in April, it has made me feel any and every emotion I could ever want to feel in my entire life. It's absolutely poetic. Like, everything about it is just very, like, it's beautifully animated. It's one of those where it uses CGI for a lot of its stuff, but it's needed, I guess, because the playing of the piano keys and everything just goes flawlessly. The music is also flawless in my eyes. Like, it never overdoes what's in it, but it always just fits everything.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's a couple of times in Your Lie in April when I have cried just because of the music, not because of like anything that's happening on screen or because of a conversation that's happening. Just music has gotten to me.
And like I said, like, there's some of the songs that just whenever I just catch the piano background music, and other ones it'll just start choking me up just because it carries with it such weight. But I highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it, because it'll make you feel all the feels multiple times. Just childhood prodigy pianist who just finds his way back into music again.
Oh, yeah, and I don't forgive his mother.
I don't either, because just the way it portrays her throughout the whole thing, which I will say, like, I don't necessarily consider this a spoiler, but there is a point a little bit later in the show, because the whole time you go through it and you never like actually get to see her face, and then the first time that you actually get to see his mother's face, that like absolutely shattered me for the first time in the show. Because I don't forgive her by any means, but it's just like the first time that it had attempted to humanize her, and it just broke me.
Yeah, it does give you that feeling of wanting to forgive her, but having that complete conflict, and it makes you feel like he feels.
It does. It does a really good job of just like getting you to like just feel the emotion that all of the characters are feeling, because it like all the feelings that you get throughout the show are very like personable. Like, it's very slice of life, but it's also like it just reminds you of middle school. Like, everything just like emotions constantly flaring, like just the need to be like wanting to be noticed or needed by somebody. And it's just all so real. And then the experience with the mother, like, that's not very accurate to me, but portions of my life have been like I felt emotions similar to stuff like that, so that kind of hit home with me as well.
Well, I think everyone has experienced having a love of something but being pulled away from it because of one reason or another, and then trying to stumble your way back to it. And it just brings back all of those memories. I mean, in the case of the anime, it is a lot more extreme than most of us will go through, but it just makes you, like, you know, those emotions. Those are emotions that you have felt at a point in your life, and it just makes you go through those again, but in the eyes of another. And it's so, like, just...
It's one of those anime that I can't rate it a perfect 10, just specifically because of the tropes. Because sometimes just some of the tropes will just take you out of it just a smidge. But I'd give it a 9.9. Like, it definitely deserves that, if not a 10. But like I said, just some of the tropes, whenever they pop up, it's just kind of like, oh, really?
Yeah, Yeah, I'd probably give it like a 9.5 out of 10.
And then, so that about wraps it up for me. Dakota, do you have a legitimate favorite anime you want to talk about, or was Dragon Ball Evolution just yours?
I mean, when you got a god tier movie of Dragon Ball Evolution, it's hard to like copy. But I don't know, like any Studio Ghibli, normally solid, pretty dope for a movie. Actual like anime. Cowboy Bebop was probably like the one that actually like really got me into anime. So that one's probably my favorite for the most part. Just because it's like it's dope, got like awesome soundtrack, like good sound effects. It has like a unique premise that it's not normally in most anime. So that's probably my favorite. I rewatch it like every like other year or so.
No, because I don't think I've seen like anybody compare any other anime to Cowboy Bebop or try to compare it to any other thing else. Like it's very unique on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing about that series is it's set in a kind of a science fiction setting environment, but
Yeah.
it doesn't focus on that.
Yeah, there's that, and then like it's like definitely kind of our world because like at one point like one of the characters finds a VCR tape and is like, man, these are really rare these days. So it's kind of like okay, that's cool, even though like VCRs like are actually already like starting to like disintegrate.
And that was a really good episode when they had to go look for one.
Yeah, that was pretty
That
dope.
was a really good one.
The cool thing about it, it like starts after what a normal anime would have taken place. Like it's like after like major incidents happened.
Right.
It's kind of like it's the fallout.
Yep. Also, talking about music is just so good.
Yeah, it's definitely like very jazz inspired esque.
All right, and that basically covers all the topics that we've had to talk about today. So, and now, Blue, James, I know y'all are unfamiliar with this custom, so at the end of every one of our podcasts, we like to play a little game.
Oh,
Dakota,
don't worry, Brad.
Dakota,
Brad,
explain the game.
Hold up.
Oh no.
All right. So nowadays, the world has a major issue. We're dealing with a lot of fake news, as you might call it, out there. Who's behind it? Lizard people? Communists? I don't fucking know. We're not going to get into this. I'm not a podiatrist.
We don't talk
So
about
what-
communism here. You will not disgrace home country.
So how this game is going to put you to the test, it's going to be able to enhance your senses to be able to figure out if a news headline is fake or not. So I'm going to list off 3 news headlines, nothing else. One of them's fake, 2 of them are real. Your job is supposed to spot the fake one. You guys can work together. You can go on your own. You can discuss however you feel like doing. You guys ready?
About as
Yeah,
ready as
sure.
I'm going to be. I'm not in on this either. I'm going to be playing this as well because I always enjoy these.
All right. And we got a special today. It's the Florida special.
Oh god. Even across the pond, I know about Florida, right?
Oh yeah, Florida
Hey, Florida.
is America's America, is what I like to call it. It's the most America that you can get. Whether you take that as good or bad, it's there. There's Disney World, so you know.
Disney World, woo! Oh, I'm sorry.
All
Anyway.
right. So first off, drunk Florida man gets drunk on wrong beer. Number 2, 15 pounds of frozen Italian sausage crashes on Florida man's family roof. Number 3, possum breaks into Florida liquor store, gets drunk.
Can you repeat those again?
Oh god.
Of course. Number 1, drunk Florida man gets drunk on wrong beer.
That's
Number
so
2,
good.
15 pounds of frozen Italian sausage crashes on Florida family's roof. Number 3, possum breaks into Florida liquor store, gets drunk.
1 and 2 I can understand, but how does Italian sausage land on a...
You know, I could almost imagine the of meat falling onto someone's house because you never know. That sounds like something that could happen there.
You know, they might have been just trying to airdrop somebody some sausage. That's what they wanted.
I mean,
Or it's Amazon's new delivery service with the drones, you know?
It's just a crane just lifting a pallet of sausage.
I mean, I wouldn't complain if a 15-pound box of sausage just flew through my roof. I'd be like, oh, hey, look, dinner for months.
Yeah, but I've got thousands of dollars of damage of my roof.
No, I rent. It's totally fine. Landlords have to take care of that. I just get free sausage.
Just be a breezy for a few days.
Yeah, it's fine. It's still kind of like fall/winter here, so everything's fine.
Oh yeah,
how
I
does
forget.
possum get into the cans or bottles, or what are we talking here for the beer?
It just pops the top. It just starts clunking.
Yeah, we gotta figure out.
It's a Russian possum. Went straight for the vodka.
Like, unless we have kegs, maybe. I don't know.
I'm gonna,
Probably like boxed wine or something, nibbled through the edge.
I'm gonna have to go with one on this one because I mean it sounds fake for the sole fact of there's no such thing as a wrong beer. It's all the right beer.
I think because it sounds fake, it's true. It's so simple and stupid.
But that's the thing about Florida. If it sounds simple, then it can't be true.
I think the possum one's fake.
Okay. All right. So Blue thinks it's the possum. Brad, you think it's the beer. What you got?
I'll go with oh wow. Well, I'll just go with the sausage, just to make it different.
All right. Brad, you are correct. It was the wrong beer.
Victory!
So tell me more about this roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you
so
read us
they-
that actual article? I want to hear this.
Okay, I'll summarize it. Florida family woke up, heard a loud thud, went outside. There was a bunch of bags that had like a sausage company on it. They called the guy who owned it, had no idea how they got there, and they still have no idea to this day, as far as I know. The family come up with theories, and they think it has something to do with a drug deal.
What?
I don't know, but that was in the article. Here's the actual quote. I thought possibly it had fallen from a plane. I thought possibly it was something to do with a drug deal or something.
Okay then.
I could just see somebody standing on a street corner now. Hey, listen, you got the stuff? Look, I got a kilo of Coke, and you're going to give me 15 pounds of sausage. Fair deal? Wait, where's the sausage? Where's the sausage? Fuck!
I just like the fact that the guy walked outside, saw the sausage, and just like must have been the Colombians.
Colombian sausage.
Man, that's a high quality Colombian black tar sausage.
I watch Narcos on Netflix. I know this is their quirk.
So is that what the dude on Shameless was addicted to? Is that what I'm getting at?
Apparently.
I need an anime about drug dealers with sausages now. Can somebody make this, please?
Yeah, they used drones, but they didn't get them from the U.S.
The idea of a plane flying over the top of somebody's house and just like a bomb just like opens the gate.
A plane's just very slightly overweight, so they gotta dump something in the cargo hold and like, the fuck are these sausages?
Who packed a thing of 15 pounds of sausages? Mate.
Sir, The plane's over. It's overcovered.
Hit the doors up on the sides, and then you just flip out.
Sir,
Not the sausages!
we gotta lose 15 pounds an hour. We're gonna crash. Don't worry, I got my bag of sausage.
The baby or the sausage, what do we throw?
Damn it, we gotta get a coin toss.
Somebody roll a d20 to figure it out.
Nat 1. Damn it, we gotta lose the sausage.
But it's the cookout tonight! You sure we can't throw the baby?
Reminds me of playing Skyrim, and you're just over encumbered, so you're just going through your inventory, just throwing away all the useless shit, just so you can actually walk again.
I'm broken.
Oh yeah, so the possum broke into a liquor store, right? And an employee came in the morning and found like an empty, broken bottle of bourbon. And apparently the possum was acting weird, so they had to like pump it full of fluids and wait for it to sober up. But it's all right now.
Two possums walk into a liquor store.
Yeah.
For once, it actually wasn't playing possum, it just was.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently, as the
possum
was, the possum drank the whole damn bottle.
It's a broken bottle of bourbon, and there's just no alcohol on the just licked clean.
I know what happened here.
How did it live? It must have been way over the legal limit. It can't drive home in that state, man.
Somebody write a ticket for public intoxication.
Yo, that possum got a liver of steel, I tell you what.
I feel sorry for its lawyer.
That possum's got a better liver than I do. That's some bullshit.
There's some serious AA, problems to resolve now.
Next week on Alcoholics Anonymous, there's just a possum.
I just imagine like a possum with its life in shambles, like its significant other left it, had nowhere else to turn to, finds a liquor store.
All right, Greg, it's your turn. Please share. Now
I just
come
try
on,
to wash
buddy.
away my problems, man.
Just a possum sitting on the side of the road with a paper bag and a bottle in it.
Guys,
Full
Greg,
possum for food.
Greg's playing possum this week, guys. He's not here to share.
Just the AA meeting, the possum's just playing dead in the middle of the floor.
It's like, we know you're alive, Greg.
You gotta come to terms with your problems, Greg.
The first step is acceptance, Greg.
And
You gotta realize that the very problem. We're sorry Debbie left you, but you gotta fess up, man.
If you get your life on track, Greg, you might be able to again, okay? He's a deadbeat dad, get it?
I like the pun.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm dying.
This podcast is derailed so quick.
Who needs to do sit-ups when you can do a podcast, honestly?
Right? My jaw hurts. My abs hurt. Like, I think I've got a six-pack somewhere under all this shit.
Six-pack of possums.
Hell of possum.
My abs are playing possum, guys. Come on now. And I think that's going to wrap it up.
Yeah, let's say drunk as a possum instead of drunk as a skunk.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Just breaking down stereotypes.
Yeah, stupid
One
Greg.
animal at a time.
Yeah, it's 2019. We gotta get to the possum now.
Damn it, Greg. Way to break down the curve.
Be better than this, Greg.
Now they're comparing us to those skunks.
What's next? Raccoons?
Yeah, Greg, soon we're going to be finding you rummaging through the trash.
I'm fine. I'm not broken. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this go around. So for Blue, you can catch her on Instagram, Twitter at Blue Lavender STM. The links will be somewhere in the YouTube video description whenever this goes live on YouTube. I'm assuming, in a week, Dakota, usually?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. And then Twitch, you can find her at twitch.tv/Blue Lavender. She streams every day except Sundays at 10 p.m. EST or 8 p.m. What is that? MST? Mountain Standard Time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then on Friday, she does another one at, 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
MST?
Yeah.
So 5 p.m. EST. And schedule is very wonky right now, but she's playing great games on the wonky days, so it's excellent. And then for both of us coming up in October, Spooky Month.
Spooky month.
It's gonna be so great.
Yeah, and I'm a big old baby, so if you want to see me like scream, cry, and have a really bad time, come to see me stream.
Yes, do it.
Yes. Yeah.
And
If you
then
want to see a little girl cry, just, come to my stream. It's fine. I'm
watch her
okay.
play scary games. Yes, it will be a wonderful time.
Night terrors for a month.
just the whole month is nothing but just sitting straight up in the middle of the night yelling.
Ah! It's that dang possum again! Invading my dreams!
Blue has to end up going to see a therapist, not because of the scary games, but because of the possum.
He just looked at me, drank some bourbon, and then just died.
Like, who does that? Fucking weirdo.
He stole Becky's Starbucks. Who
Oh,
does that?
shit. That-
It's 2019. You can't do that, Greg. There's standards now.
Dang it, Greg.
You don't steal Starbucks from a basic white girl. Get your shit together.
They're eco-friendly. They don't got straws anymore. They got the lid things, which are actually worse for the environment. Come on.
And then, as for Mr. James, as he mentioned earlier, he is an author, so links to his books will also be somewhere in the description of the YouTube video, so make sure to check those out. I'm actually needing to check those out as well, because I'm very interested in what he writes and the stories he has to tell. And also a link to his Discord, where he hangs out, talks about his books, talks about paranormal stuff, and also he has a Minecraft section set up where he's posting all of his builds, and those are very interesting to check out for sure. Because with him being new to the game, seeing his creative mind flourish is an excellent thing to see.
That's been fun, and I mean, I've had other channels recently, and music and food, and just really enjoying the Discord right now.
Yeah, it's awesome to see your Discord and stuff grow as well. So it's a pleasure to be a part of that community, and it's a pleasure to be a part of Kami-sama's community as well.
Aww. Aww. In the fields. In the fields.
And then, as for me, Brad Carter Gaming on anything and everything, it goes without fail. The YouTube channel that this will be going up on is called Let's Party Up Gaming. Is that right?
Just let's party up, man. Just let's party up.
Is it?
I don't fucking know.
It's
I
been
think so.
ages since we posted anything on there.
Yeah, I still remember the password. Why
Password
do you ask?
Password reset coming up. That's okay.
Yeah,
I'm still logged into the Twitter account, so that at least counts for something.
What was the fucking email that I used for that?
And
Yeah, I'm not having an existential crisis right now.
Dakota just thinking about Greg and passwords he's broken.
Fuck.
So it's been great hanging out with all of y'all. Dakota, you're still fired. I'll find a new co-host by the time the next one comes around. Blue,
You won't give me the new
James.
password then.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm still into the Twitter, so I can ruin his life that way.
Yeah. You got me again. Hubert.
I'll get you next time, you and your meddling kids with your stupid dog.
And Greg.
And
Yeah.
Greg.
And Greg.
I'm going to have to make a
Greg's
Greg emote now at this point. It's going to have to happen.
It's just a possum like passed out with a bottle of bourbon next to it.
I need to unlock 2 more emote slots. I get a possum and a bottle of bourbon.
Just a smashed bottle, and he's like holding it like I'm gonna show you, mate.
You come in here to my liquor store. Greg, you're not the liquor store. You come in here.
Blue, James, I greatly appreciate y'all hanging out. This has been an absolute blast getting to actually sit down and chit chat with y'all and talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, it's been real good meeting you guys. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. It's been so much fun, and yeah, I have a 6-pack now, so yeah, I'm good.
We've all got shredded. Hulk Hogan, look out. We are all going to play Santa with muscles
I don't have
next.
any facts. It's too, there's too much there, but it's still good. It was awesome.
Hey, Brad, real quick, can we review Santa with Muscles on the next podcast?
You know
I'll
what?
give it another shot. You want to just watch it? It's on YouTube.
You know
It's
what?
illegally on YouTube, but it's on YouTube. Don't tell anybody.
Not anymore. YouTube is watching. Hello, Susan. Thank you for taking that off.
Yo, if Susan's watching this, fuck yeah.
Instantly demonetized.
Instantly.
Not even on your platform.
Even on Twitch, Discord demonetized. Every got any revenue, your paycheck not coming.
All the bids, everything just instantly goes to YouTube
Everything.
because we brought them up.
Technology.
Well, thanks, guys, and we will catch y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.